Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. I have 10:01. Is that what you have, Miss Roz?
Yes, that is what I have, sir.
Well, we are going to start in about 1 minute, okay?
Okay.
And everybody is muted, and I understand that. We're supposed to have a large group of people today. And so we're asking everyone to stay on mute. We will unmute different people as we progress. And in that sense, please, please, please feel free to use your chat.
Yes.
My darling wife, Rosalind, there will be um, monitoring the chat, and she'll be keeping up with that. And Roz, I am at 10:02.
10:02, sir.
So we're going to start.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Paul Coates. I am the founder and director of Black Classic Press, and I also work with us in BCP Digital Printing. I coordinate a lot of things over there. We have Damani Coates with us, and we have Rosalind Coates with us. Damani really, I guess he and Chris really run the printing operation now. As many of you guys know who are on this call, we have been printing since about 1995. Today's session, and Roz, if you can put this in the chat at some point, today's session is really directed to people who are just getting started in publishing, particularly people who already have their manuscript and they're ready to start publishing and are experiencing stops in the process. So that's what we're going to do today. And again, I'm welcoming everyone. What I'd like to do and what is our tradition is before we do these Zoom calls, we take a minute, 2 minutes to just ground ourselves. There's usually a libation done or a moment of silence. This morning, I'm going to ask that we take a moment of silence, that we call into the space we're in, into this space, our ancestors, that we call into this space those loved ones, those friends, those relatives, and particularly those friends and relatives that have transitioned most recently. Those people who are close to us, those people whose hearts we still belong to and belong to us. What I would like for you to do is take a moment of silence. You can pray, you can wish, or you can just meditate on that energy, that spiritual energy, and bring it into this call and have it guide us, have it protect us and guide us in a way that we get the most out of our being together today. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. So, as I said, this call really is about people who are starting the process of publishing. This is what I'm calling a beginner's forum. And it is a forum because in the sense that we're going to have a number of people that are on the call already, some that will come on the call that are experienced and can contribute to help round out this call. What I want to do is start initially, if the people on the call who have manuscripts, if you could raise raise your hands. And if you look down in your control, you'll see where you can get your hand up. And Roz, I'm forgetting where that button is, but if you guys could look
It's
down there.
reactions, baby. Generally,
Okay.
it's reactions.
I don't know if you can call me baby on this
Oh,
call.
I'm sorry.
I'm Paul Coach.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. Excuse me, you guys.
Yeah, y'all just forget that part. Okay? But look, go into reactions. And people, first time self-publishers, if this is your first time getting a book up off the ground, please raise your hand and keep your hand up, please. Because this call is for you. And what I'm going to do is ask you to join. And we'll be able to talk to certainly a couple of folks, but basically asking you to join us and tell us about your project. I'm not talking about give us a dissertation. Don't give us a dissertation on your project, okay? Just tell us what you're doing. Try to make it concise, what you're doing, where you are in your process, and what is ahead that's a real challenge for you. Not a problem, but that's a challenge for you. What is it that you are encountering that's stopping you or slowing you down? I think what we'll do by listening to people, what we'll find is by listening to people, a lot of us are experiencing, and a lot of you guys anyway, are experiencing the same issues or related issues. So again, for folks who have new manuscripts, raise your hand, please. And Roz, if you will, if you can start by unmuting some folks, and again, just do
Okay.
your 30-second elevator pitch on this, because we want to get in as many people as possible.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with Miss Payne Parrish.
Hi,
Okay.
Hi.
can you hear me? All right,
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
My name is Jennifer Payne Parrish. I've completed my manuscript. It's now in the editorial process. It is about my process and my journey as a Black woman interested in science from a very early age. And it's about that experience moving through the educational system from elementary school through the PhD.
Great.
Okay.
And Jennifer, what is there? Are there any challenges in front of you? Are there any questions that you would like to have addressed this morning?
Absolutely. One of my, I guess, challenges is I know that self-publishing means that I need to have a presence, a social media presence, etc. Not really sure how to do that well. I've started publishing some things in Medium, the online magazine, but really, I'm really trying to figure out how to promote and get myself out there from a social media standpoint so that my book will sell.
Okay, good.
Okay. Now I'd like to call on Brother Muhammad, Zaid Muhammad. Okay.
I was talking, I was muted.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone.
Good morning, brother.
Brother Paul, it's been a long time since I've wanted to connect with you, and I'm glad you're doing this. I have about 4 volumes of about 30, 35 years worth of creative work and poetry together. And I'm fully transparent. I'm just struggling with some life stuff. That's in the way, like just the space to be able to manage, doing several volumes and having the space to do that. But I guess from within the field, I think one of the things that I may need and certainly would like to do is as I prepare these pieces and and put them out in terms of presentation. And I was listening to the queen who went before me. I think there's a need for me to have about 3 or 4 good professionally done videos of doing the pieces that can be presented in a web page. That would be the second item that I'm concerned about that I need to pull together, to have that capacity to present or to market or to share what I get out once I'm able to get it out.
Okay,
Okay,
great. Thank you, brother.
thank
By the
you.
way,
Thank you
the
both.
love between you two is fine with me. Now, right?
Thank you both for
Thank you.
keeping your questions, your presentation concise. Thank you.
Okay, Siobhan Turner, please.
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me? No?
yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I have my earphones on. Just wanted to make sure. Hi, guys. My name is Siobhan Turner, and I am.
You're kind of muffled though. Can you?
Okay. Yes. One moment. Let me get off my Bluetooth. Sorry. Now,
Yes,
is this better?
yes, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. So I have a manuscript, a novel, and it's already I have already been through the phases of editing. I just finished my final edit. Now I'm in the process of actually putting it together, like from the beginning to the end. I have my cover design and everything. The book is young people and young adults that it's okay to make mistakes and that God will still love you at the end of the day. So that's where I'm going with it. I think this was a 10-year process in the making. So I am finally over my fear and ready to just step out there and do what I need to do and put everything in place. So I was about to just like drop it into a program that puts it in order for you and try to figure out from there. So I'm excited about this meeting and the information to come. So I thank you all for this platform.
And Siobhan, do you what is the big challenge in front of you at this point? I'm just curious, what do you see? And it could be 2 or 3.
Yeah, so the big challenge was finding somebody because I'm unknown author, I'm unknown author. So just really finding a publishing company or see if I wanted to self-publish that was really there for me. I'm just researching now and just like trying to find the best fit for myself and resources and also financially what will work to be able to publish it. So that I think at the end of the day, I just want to be responsible and financial direct when it comes to actually getting the book published. So I just think that has been a hindrance so far.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Linda Bridges, followed by Alex Schultz. Linda Bridges, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes, my name is Hakika.
Okay.
The second part is Linda Bridges, but it's Hakika. Good morning, family.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have written 3 books many years ago, and 2 of them are edited. One of them is ready to go to press, but when I started to publish it or looking to publish it, I shared it with a friend who said I needed an appendix because it's got so much information. It's a cookbook looking at the minds of the cooks. And so it comes from some traditional information and also just how the mind works. And it reads very simply. I think it's a good book and it keeps my attention and the attention of people who have read it. Part of my problem is a little fear of putting myself out there. Another part of it was when I tried to publish something else, I hadn't written anything for anyone, so no one knew me. So then I opened a blog in order to get some kind of reputation for myself. So it would be, some people would know me. And there's a financial component that I'm looking at too. Can I afford to have someone help me to publish my book or not? So I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Okay. So now someone, one of the first things you said is you had someone look at it and they said you needed an appendix.
Yes, because I've got a lot of material in there about food, and the origin of food would require a little more research. And
Okay.
so I have some of it that's pinpointed but not detailed. And I think that would be helpful. And my daughter's a person who knows about conservation, and she could help me, but she's not particular about it. Also, I don't like editing. I absolutely hate editing. So I really had to push myself to do that.
Okay. Okay. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that last point, especially. Okay.
Okay.
Look, so I just saw a note pop up and someone was saying, well, I don't have a manuscript. I just want to remind folks what we're doing at this point for people who came on the call a little bit later. What we're doing is we're just taking a survey. This call especially is for people who have manuscripts, they're ready to go to press, but they have issues or challenges in front of them that are keeping them, that's holding them back. That's who it's especially for. At the same time, what we're creating is a forum, okay? So people who don't have manuscripts, you will get something from the call just by listening to the challenges that other people are confronting. People who have books out, you will hear yourself and you will get something as well. That would be my guarantee to you. In some cases, I have people who are on the call who are experienced in different areas, and I will call them in. But I wanted to listen to a few more people to get our conversation going. And
Okay.
this is it's a round table. It really is a discussion. And I'm always excited listening to people with their projects and the challenges they're facing. So thank you. And we're asking people to make their presentation concise. And you guys have been doing that, and I appreciate it. So thank you. Thanks,
Okay.
Ross.
Sure. Alex Schultz, followed by Janine or Jean Muhammad. Thank you.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so I am legally blind, and I wrote a fantasy novel that it starts off with two gnomes that overhear like a prophecy given to a human, and then they kind of start doing the quest for the human, but the human doesn't know. And it's kind of like a fun Good Omens meets Lord of the Rings vibe. And I've like shared my experience of losing my vision in that story. One of the main characters loses his sight, and so it's pretty connected with me, even though it's told in a fantasy setting rather than like a memoir type of thing. And I wrote this kind of just in my free time for fun, and it's been a lot of fun to write. And now I was like, oh, how can I share it? And I looked into publishing, and kind of my biggest obstacle has been that it's just very overwhelming. Like, I don't really know where to start. I have a finished book that I have a friend that's an editor, that she's going to look at it for me and help me out get it edited. So we're kind of in the, like, it's done, but it probably should be edited a little more. So I'm like done with it, but it needs a little more work probably. And so that's where I'm at. And then my questions, I guess, are just trying to understand how publishing works and how I can get my manuscript out there at some point.
Okay. Okay. All right, Alex, thank you very much. I think I understand what you have there. Now, you're a little bit different because your manuscript is not complete, okay? So your story is complete, but your manuscript is not complete. So,
Okay.
yeah, and it's okay. It really, really is okay. We're going to leave your question in the queue and we'll come back to it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have Jeannie Muhammad, followed by Sharon, and then followed by Purusha Hickson, please. Thank you.
Okay. Grand Rising, everyone. Greetings. Can you hear me?
Greetings, sister. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, yes, sir. I have an attitude of gratitude. So thank you so much for having this class, and then also to uh, going back and forth with me as far as emails. Um, my situation here is I wrote a children's book, and I don't I enjoyed writing the book because it's about dealing with children and their cognitive thinking. Um, but I finished it, but after that, I didn't enjoy what comes after as far as getting ISBN numbers, dealing with social media, as far as putting my book out there, presentation, and I'm like this other sisters, the other sister said, the program to put things in order. See, I don't mind writing, but after that, I don't want to do the editing. I don't want to do the graphic designs. I had my nephew did that, and I sent that information off to Miss Darlene Jones, the lady on your website. So right now, me and her are conversing as far as what she can do with it. Yeah, but I'm through with it. And again, after that, I don't want anything else to do with it as far as editing and all that. So do you all know of a program that put things in order for us? Is that something that's already on your website?
Okay, so Jeannie, I'm trying to, I got your question, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to also frame what you're seeing as your challenge. Because as I'm hearing it, you don't want anything to do with the selling. You want a
Well,
program that you can put your book into, and there you go. Is that kind of good characterization?
somewhat. I mean, I don't mind as long as the social media part, like the other lady said too, I have an issue with. I don't have a website, which I know I need one if I'm going to sell books. So,
Okay,
so
okay,
this is new to me. I'm coming from a medical background,
okay,
so but I want to put this book out because I know that it's needed.
okay. All right, great, 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 great. Um, one of the things, as I told you guys, we have a number of people on the call who are experienced, and I will be calling on them at different times. Michelle, if you could, I see we have Sister Michelle on the phone. If you could put a pin in Jeannie's piece, I'm going to have you respond to that when we get back to it, if you would, please. Okay?
Okay,
Thank you, darling.
all right.
Okay,
Okay. How many more do we have,
we
Roger?
just have two more. We have
Great. Okay.
Sharon and
Good.
Purusha, just
Good.
two.
Okay. We'll stop there.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
so glad that one, I got in, and then Paul and Sister Roz. I'm so glad to see you all. But I'm Sharon Lee Minor today. I have so many different names. And I have published before, but one, I have to thank Paul and Roz because they have been such an incentive for me to, when I did my first book, A Tribe to Spies, Paul was the one that I just knew I had to do a project with him whenever. And so I self-published with another company, but I was like, no, I got to be with my peeps this time. So I really know that. So the project I'm working on now is called The Case of the Granny Panty Snatchers. And it's really it's great fun. I want to do it. It's really focusing on people who are of my group, my age group, okay? We are the senior citizens, the elders. And so it's a story that is hilarious. And people have been saying, Sharon, when you're going to get this out, when you're going to get it out. And so now, and I do all of my own illustrations as well. And so now I've done I thought I've done the story, I did that years, but now I'm doing the illustrations because I took a cartoon class this spring. And I want to do it like a cartoon because it's really about getting people to feel good about connecting with generations. The story, real quick, is that the older people, our generation, this I call vintaged people, because of younger generations being so caught up in their gadgets, in the telephones and with all their stuff, that they're really missing relationships. So what they do is they go out and they snatch people who are not paying attention and they end up in court. Okay, so that's how it starts, and it's really hilarious. But right now, my stump is I'm doing the illustrations myself, and so I'm finding that I have to change the manuscript. So that's where I'm bringing the two together, the words and the illustration. And I'm just glad that I'm going to do this with BCP. I'm not doing it with anybody else.
Got it. Thank you, sis. Glad to see you made it too.
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you. Good to see you, sis.
Yeah.
Mr. Coates, Brother Coates, we have one more after Brother or I think, yeah, Purusha. We have a Brother Jad who has a book. So we got a chat message that he would like to say some words as well.
Okay, I'm going to ask him not to.
Not right now? Okay.
Really, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
This
Okay.
really is for folks with, and I'm sorry that I have to keep that focus, okay?
Okay, all right, all right, cool.
One of the things we'll do different calls at different times, and I will have people on who can help us, especially with books that have already been done and
Okay,
other challenges. We're gonna have a whole conversation going on.
okay.
But this one, the only way to keep it focused is
Oh, he
really
said it's
to
a
stay with.
manuscript. It's a manuscript. It
It's a
hasn't been published
manuscript.
yet. It
If
hasn't been published yet.
Okay, if it's a manuscript, let's just take him and can we close with that so we can go ahead
We'll
and
close,
address it?
yeah, we'll close with Jad, yes. So
Okay.
first,
You had one other brother though before.
yeah, Hickson, yes. Okay, your turn, brother. Please.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Greetings.
Good morning.
Greetings.
Just want to send some love to Hakika. Nice to see your name on the screen, Hakika. Much love to you. The book that I've done is on the spiritual teachings of Alice Coltrane. I was her first initiated student.
Really?
And it has 4 main points: her teachings, my own journey to her, about the organization, spiritual community that she built, and then finally the political, social context, because it started in the 70s and we know there was a lot going on, and how all of that consciousness was part of really the wonderful phenomena of her coming and blessing us, not just with her music, but with her deep spiritual insight. My biggest challenge is just educating myself to this process. I've not written a book before, and I'm so happy to hear everybody else's stories. I particularly like the sister who spoke before me, who said vintage old people, because I'm gonna use that for myself from now on. And just happy to be with you all. So thank you. Peace.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Our last speaker, please.
Who was it, Ross?
Would that be me?
Yeah, Jacqueline Rose, I think you said. But you said it was a brother, Jad. Jacqueline Rose was writing on behalf of Jad, J-A-D.
Yeah. And
Okay,
Jad,
okay.
And Jad and his mother Afra are on the phone together.
Okay.
So Jad
Okay.
can explain his project.
Okay. Okay. Is he ready now?
Jad, are you ready?
What's this?
They're having difficulty.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
gonna
we'll
ask
just
that
go
we
ahead
move,
then.
okay?
Oh, we can't hear them. They're talking, but we can't hear them. That is
Okay.
what they're telling me. So I apologize.
That's no
right,
problem.
no
No
worries.
problem at all.
Thank
Pardon
you.
me, I raised my hand. I'm not sure if it's showing up.
Okay, is that Pauline?
Yes,
Okay, please go ahead, Pauline.
yes. Hi, great to be here. I thank you so much. I've got a book of poetry that's been written since the 70s. I've written many other poems after that, but I wanted to leave that as a work to itself because it summarized some important aspects of life. I've always felt that I needed to contribute this to the world, And I don't want to die without doing that. I didn't feel that I wanted to toss it out to anyone to do this. So I'm emotional about it because it means so much what you're doing here and the opportunity. I wanted to do it with Black Classic Press or some association because of my deep regard and respect for what you have done and been. And I wanted to somehow connect on that level. And I feel that it would be the next step for me. So it's been written, it's been copyrighted for decades, you know, and it's the first one. And like the other brother mentioned that he has other volumes, I also have other volumes, but it's not copyrighted or in any particular order, but this first one is, and I am ready to do this. I'm ready to birth this. Spirit has told me early on that I am to contribute my poetry as a healing modality to the world. And I am ready for that now.
Okay. Pauline, thank you so much for sharing. Many of the folks on this call are people, as you can see, that I know and have known for some time. And so with Pauline, with your very, very gentle spirit and your awareness, thank you for sharing and allowing us in this group to experience the things that are close to you and the things that are holding you up. Okay, so look, with that, with Pauline share, Roz, I'm going to ask that we go ahead and proceed. And I'm going to open up again. You have myself, Paul Coates, on the call. You have Damani Coates on the call, and you have Rosalind from Black Classic Press, BCP Digital Printing. I'm gonna make a couple of general comments and start with those. Okay. What the experience that Pauline just shared with us, it really comes over all of us in different forms and in different ways. At least most of the people that I've talked to, we run into questions about whether we should put this out. Do I really want this out in the world? Am I ready to go through all of this and get it out in the world? One of the things that should unite us all, and we all need to be on this platform, is if we're going to self-publish at all, then that question is answered by the actions we take toward publishing. And only being in action will answer that question, you know? Like if we find ourselves frozen and we say, I don't know, then the truth is you really don't know. And you probably should not move forward until you do know. Do knowing comes about the task of doing. It actually, as you participate in the steps to publish your book, as you participate in the steps to self-publish, it is a process, okay? As you participate in each of those steps, it moves you closer and closer to publishing, and just your participation is answering that question, yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. Most of the folks who I have heard, or perhaps all the folks I've heard this morning, actually are ready to publish. And so the large thing that stops you, or the large thing that's stopping you, is not your lack of awareness. I want to be clear on that. It's not your lack of awareness. It may be your lack of finding the knowledge, but it isn't your lack of awareness, because your lack of awareness, as you take your steps forward, you will resolve each lack of awareness that you have. People often say, well, I don't know anything about ISBN numbers, copyright. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. I don't know anything about sales. I don't know anything about marketing. Each one of those areas is an identifiable area. And trust me, just a simple search on the internet brings you thousands of responses and thousands of channels of information, because literally thousands of people have been in the same place and asked the same question that you have. And this is trust. This is the recommendation that I give to everybody. This is a place to start. Because the one thing that, again, that we need as a platform going forward is understanding, because we don't know something, it doesn't mean that we're never going to be able to learn it. We're going to be able to learn it as we take our steps forward. I see a number of folks on the phone, and one brother I probably can't call on right now, but the brother Damani King, who I remember talking to years ago about his book. and all of these questions were there for him. Now he was certain he was going to get it out. Okay, he was certain of that. But I remember advising him, this stuff is on the internet. You know, this is that. And brother mastered those things. And maybe not on this call, on another call, Damani, I hope we'll be able to bring you back on to talk about your process, you know, like what you've learned and what's still there for you. There will always be questions. I've done this stuff for close to 50 years, and I still have questions about publishing. But most of the questions, most of the challenges that are in front of you guys are answerable, and they're doable in the sense of just starting forward and taking it on and paring this stuff down one at a time. I'm going to go back over some of the calls, or at least and make some specific comments. And I particularly asked my friend Michelle to put a pin in, because I want her to speak on her journey and what her experience has been. Now, the people that we have some people on the call that are experienced as graphic artists. We have some people on the call that are experienced as general book people, book doctors. Malika Darrow's on the call, and Malika actually has just tons of experience. So there may be a point that I will call her in as well. And these I'm going to go back through and deal with randomly, so bear with me, okay? I'm not going to cover everybody, but some of this stuff will come up in discussion. There were questions about promotion and getting stuff started in terms of promoting and having a way to promote your books. There were questions, and I thought it interesting. Our first two calls dealt with responses or questions dealt with promotion. And Brother Zaid was talking about having a video done, which falls into the category of promotion. One of the things, let me deal with promotion for a minute, but then go back over the process. Okay, on the promotion thing, one of the things that part of this process is putting a promotion plan into effect. One of the things we'll find is that maybe a video works for us and maybe a video doesn't work for us. Maybe Facebook works for us, maybe Facebook doesn't work for us. But having a plan of how we're going to promote whatever it is we're doing is going to be essential. And going through that plan and seeing what fits you. We can get a plan together, because there, again, on the internet is your friend, okay? There are literally, you'll find literally hundreds of links, if not thousands of links, on how to promote, and videos on how to promote your books. All of those things are not going to fit you. So what you're going to end up doing is laying out a schedule of things that do fit you. And then you're going to modify even those things so that they work in your interest in terms of promotion. That applies to everything. The very first thing in our process, and this you'll always hear me talk about this, the very first thing in our process is making sure we have a quality product, okay? Making sure we have a quality manuscript comes from the writing. It comes from having a good editor on board working with you, not one of those things that you are doing yourself or trusting even a good friend who knows English better than you. No, it really is a matter of having someone who knows how to edit books and who knows what to look for in the books. And then on your part of it, you got to listen to the people. You see what I'm saying? It's
Right.
not like it's
Right.
not like it's not like you are you're gonna pay for this editor to edit your stuff, and they're gonna tell you, well, look, this word don't work. You know, maybe you want to try this, or is that really what you want to say? And you say, no, I want to say this, I want to say this, and you end up with the same manuscript you had before you hired the editor. No, that does not work. Okay, so making sure that you've got a good edited manuscript is really the place to begin. That's even before you get to the graphic designer. Okay, now your plan for promotion can begin at any point. It can begin at the beginning. When I say any point, it's not going to begin at the end, okay? It can begin at any point. While you're working on the book, you can begin to develop a plan for promotion. While you're having it edited, you can begin to have a plan for promotion, but you got to have it. You got to have it in there somewhere. So that first step is making sure you got a quality product. Editing is the first part of it. The next part of it, and this is where you really need to spend your money, in between the editing and the graphic design. Okay, making sure, because we talked about, and I think one of the things that Sharon was saying was that she's illustrating her book. And Sharon says, "Can you recommend editors?" I would start on the Good Day to Print website. Start on the Good Day to Print website. What you will find there is a page of resources, and you will find people who will edit. You will find people who do graphic design. You will find book coaches in general. Malika Darrow is on here, and she doesn't do the graphic design, but she definitely does the editing, and she does the book coaching in general. So she does those. Start on that site for editors. So again, editing, then you're going to move over to graphic design. And again, the graphic designers, you'll find a good starting place on our website. These are people who we've worked with, and they're book professionals. They're used to working with people who self-publish. So their prices are going to be compatible and will generally fit inside your budget. It doesn't matter whether you're paying someone thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars. It doesn't matter. That person, that editor, needs to know what they're doing. And ideally, you want a book editor working with you, and ideally, you want to listen to them. Same thing with design. There are all kind of graphic designers out there, and all kind of people who are great, great artists. They're not necessarily book artists, though. So you ideally want to work with someone who can look at your work, and from an experience point, that they've done graphic design from an experience point of dealing with books. And Sharon, this is one of the things I would give to you. Sharon is a wonderful artist. She's a great artist. I have in the office at Black Classic Press a wonderful piece that she's put together. My suggestion would be, in addition to the class, make sure that as you do your illustrations, that you get critique from literally from book professionals in terms of how those illustrations are communicating with people and how they're not communicating with people. And even if you're not an artist like Sharon, I would ask you to, if your book is being illustrated, and certainly your cover will probably be illustrated, as you're doing this stuff, do make sure you get feedback from people. It's on this one, you're the publisher, you're going to be the publisher, so it's going to be your sensitivity in terms of what you do and what appeals to you and what pleases you. It's going to be your sensitivity, and you're going to have some say in it, but it is important to get an idea from other folks. Look, we're at 10:45. We were going to end this call at 10 o'clock. What I'm going to ask, we'll go ahead and continue over to about 10:15, and I'll ask if you can stay on the call. Great, stay on the call. If you need to get off at 10, then
You
just
mean
watch the
11?
time. I'm sorry, 11. I'm sorry. Thank you, darling. And I called you darling. Okay. Look, we're supposed to be professional on the call, but darling works, okay? There's no harassment there, okay? So look, anyway, yeah, we'll get off at 11:15. So I wanted to cover the editing and the graphic design. People come to me because we print. And I tell everybody the same thing. Don't worry about the printing right now. Save your money, okay? Save your money. Save your money on the printing. Don't worry about that. Make sure you've got a good, well-edited piece. Nothing will destroy you faster than spending all your money getting beautiful hardcover books, and you got all these errors in the book. Nobody wants to buy that stuff. Nobody wants to buy it. The same thing is for your graphic design. Make sure that graphic design stuff holds together before you even talk about printing a book. Don't give me any money. Spend it with other folks. Ms. Shea,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to come in because, and I want to introduce everyone to Ms. Shea because I wanted you to go back to where I asked you to put that pin in. But also I want to introduce Ms. Shea because Ms. Shea is she's a special self-publisher in the sense that she does I think you do most of your editing, and she
Yeah,
does
I
a
have
graphic design.
to.
She does a graphic design. And on top of that, she does this stuff in Word. Now, our general thing is we don't even want to see a file that's done in Word. Okay? But Ms. Shea is the epitome of what I'm talking about. She has studied this stuff so
Yeah.
well that she has mastered her book design, her book editing, and her book publishing. Can you go back to where that pin was, Michelle? Because I don't see it on my thing. Can you just join in and share any wisdom that you would give around that?
Yeah, so first I can't say anything without saying hello to you, Mr. Coates, Damani, and Rosalind. You all are family, you know that. I love you all so much. It is an honor. I'm in LA, so it's 7:48 here, but I love y'all so much. I had to get up and be on this call, and for no other reason that I just wanted to, as I said to Mr. Coates, he said, you don't need to be on here because this is for people who don't, who haven't published. And I said, no, I want to be on here because I love books and I love hearing anybody talk about publishing one. That said, I have been blessed to write and publish 22 books with Black Classic Press. 22 books with Black Classic Press. We started our relationship in 2004. So I have been with them for a very long time. And it has been the honor of my life to work with this amazing family. I heard a lot said today. I wanna say this. One of the things we don't prepare for in this book process is cost, right? So we do this writing and we have these stories. Mr. Coates has talked about editor, and he's talked about graphic design. The editing piece, know that you get what you pay for. Editors are not cheap. If you're going to get a good one who's going to really, really go through your manuscript, Mr. Coates talked about you listening to the person and honoring their advice. I would also say honor the fact of their gift. So if Mr. Coates talked about money, save your money because editors need to be paid because they do very labor-intensive work if they're going to do it well. So save your money to be able to hire a really great editor so that you can get the best out of the story that you're telling. As Mr. Coates said, you want an excellent story. You want a story that's going to compel people to keep turning the pages, and errors will cause people to put your book down. So, you have this wonderful thought and this wonderful idea, but the editor will help you to take it to the next level. And you want to be able to pay that person to do that. I celebrate all of you who have the courage to get to this place where you want to tell your story. Mr. Coates, was there anything in particular else that you wanted me to speak to?
Michelle, here's the thing, the way I do this, I do it organically. You know what I mean? You
Okay.
dropped what you had, and if other stuff comes up in the conversation, we'll come back to you. Or you can just flag to come in. Okay.
Yeah, well, I also, let me just lastly say this. I would love to help anybody that I can. As Mr. Coach said, yes, I do my own editing, but I have 2 other editors who go behind me. So before I send a book to Black Classic Press, it's already been edited by 3 people. Because I know once you watch or read something a long time, you see what you see. So it's important to get some other eyes on it. So I do have a team of 2 other editors that work with me. But from the beginning of cover design to interior formatting, I do all of it, and the extent to which I can be helpful to anybody on the call, I'd love to.
So Michelle, are you also doing book doctor work? Do people hire you to carry?
Absolutely.
Okay, look, do
I
me a
came
favor.
here
Go
to
ahead.
LA 4 years ago, and I've been ghostwriting. I'm on my 8th ghostwriting project
Wow,
right now.
wow.
And I've also written, helped to co-write a couple of books for people. So yes, I am doing the book coaching, the story development coaching as well. And it's a privilege. That's why I wanted to be on here, because I love that you all have decided I want to tell my story. And here's the other thing I would say. Sometimes you don't know the power of the story you have until you have a book coach like a Malika or a Michelle that can help push that thought out and help you to think more thoroughly about what you want to say. So that's the other benefit of having a book coach and someone to guide you if you're not complete with your manuscript yet. So yeah, I want to add that too.
No, that's good. Can you do me a favor? Can you drop your contact information in the chat for us? And then what I'll do is I will pick it up and make sure that your contact is also on our resource page. Just like this call, what we're looking to do with that resource page is make it a center for people to actually get information and help with their projects. So thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much.
Thanks for
Damani,
having me.
Yes, sir.
was there anything that you wanted to drop in at this point? Anything that I did not cover or that you see in the questioning?
I think one of the things that I would speak to is I took a couple of different notes here. So I think one of the things that I would speak to is the importance of understanding that in taking on self-publishing, you don't really have an opportunity to opt out until the book has reached a platform and a demand that the sales necessitate you bringing in some additional outside resources. And I'll make that, I'll try to explain that and make that, more common. The process of self-publishing entails several steps before you actually get to the point where you would be reaching out and bringing in, at least by our recommendation, I should say, because there's a multiple number of ways that this can be done. But generally, our recommendation to anybody that we work with is that, as you spoke to, and I'm not baby, so I'm gonna use the word dad, because we are family owned and operated. So I say that, with strong affection. But we have this commentary quite a bit where people begin the process of self-publishing. They begin engaging in the steps that are involved from that editing, working with the book designer, to submitting the print-ready PDF file, getting the book out to actually make it available for sale. And people, once they experience their first success of, let's say, printing their first round of books, maybe the demand of having to fulfill those orders and send those orders out to people is more than what they would actually like to take on. my encouragement and what I would like to speak to is that I think the more you engross yourself in that experience, the more knowledgeable you become. And Mache, I think, alluded to that a little bit in what she was saying. And I encourage everybody on the call, much to what you spoke to earlier, Deb, when you said that everybody is actually ready. You just have to have enough confidence in yourself to jump out there, take the leap, engage in the process, and have faith that throughout this process, your muscle and your knowledge, for publishing is going to get stronger.
Yeah.
With that, your success will come.
Yeah.
I think that it's a misnomer to think, though, that you engage this process and you won't be accountable for your individual success. So that's what that's the highlight that I guess I wanted to speak to, because I think it's critically important to understand that you are the driving force of the success of your work.
Yeah, I think what Damani is addressing is another part of what I consider the programming and the process. The process begins with a commitment, and it begins with making a commitment to yourself. And really, if you've launched yourself and if you go out there, that commitment is there. It helps sometimes to have the commitment stated. So Pauline, in your case, and Pauline, I can't imagine that you would put a book of poetry out that would not be successful.
Not with that passion.
Yeah. I can't. I'm ready to buy the book now. So, look, the commitment is, and the commitment is to yourself initially, that you're going to get this done, and that this is what you're prepared to do. So that commitment is important. Let me lead that back into something, and I'm gonna bring Malaika in because I see Malaika put a note in. She has a different way to go, and I appreciate it, and so she's going to be able to share it. But I do want to say this. In terms of, because one of the sisters raised, and I think it was, I believe it's Hakika, I think it is. Hakika, I'm sorry. And sister, my pronunciation may be off and I apologize. But I do want to deal with your question because one of the things you came up, one of the things you were talking about was financial. Okay, so financial is always going to be a factor, guys. To no matter what you're doing, it's always going to be a factor. But financial falls under your commitment. So, and what I mean by that is do not structure your commitment based on your financial ability. Let your financial ability be in service to your commitment. So if you're committed to get a book out, that may be getting a few books out. I mean, if finances dictate it, may be getting a few books out, but it doesn't mean that you won't get it out. And it doesn't mean that you're waiting until you get all the money you need so you can publish 1,000 books. That may not be your route. You may just have to break this down into little pieces. And that is to say, I'm going to do my editing first and I've got the money to take care of that, or I will have the money to take care of that. I'm going to do my graphic design, now I have the money to take care of that, and then I'm going to worry about the publishing. If your vision is there and if the commitment is there, I think in most cases, what we're talking about today in terms of costs for self-publishing, most of the times you can shape your costs to make it affordable enough to get your work done. So I understand that we all have challenges financially. Trust me, Black Classic Press, A Good Day to Print, BCP Digital Printing has financial challenges every day. But we also have a vision, and we're in service to that vision much more than we are our financial limitations. Malaika, you still with me?
Here.
Good, 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 good. So Malika dropped into the notes, you know, that it's always a good idea to have a business plan. And so I would like for her to speak to that. And I would like for her to speak to that.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
how does that work? How does that work for someone who has one book or they have a vision for one book?
Because every book is its own business enterprise. Anytime you decide that you are going to publish a book, including self-publish a book, you have decided to open a business, just like a restaurant, just like a barber shop, just like a card shop. And and I can dig that the sound of doing a profit and loss statement and a grid and writing down your expenses and and how you're going to draw the income, sounds a little scary and like a drag. At least it was for me, until I also learned that it can also be an inspiration to you and help keep your mind focused on the fact that there's some cost you can't cut, and people have alluded to that. It's like editing is time consuming. People reading your work, proofreading your work is time consuming. What designers do, aside from, the pretty parts, the technological parts, all of that, are time consuming, and everybody's got to eat. So if you know what that is from the jump and you plan this out, you know what your return is going to be. You can earn that money back. Most books that even big publishers publish don't necessarily go into the profit or big profit, space of accounting, but you can recoup your expenses. But you do need a plan, and that can help you also with the schedule. Don't be in a hurry. And for most of us. Anyway, I won't even get into the time thing. Everybody's feeling their mortality in these days. We just have to do our best where that is concerned. But to have that plan, just like you wrote that content for that book, write down how you're going to lay this out from the editing through to the marketing and promotion. And so what, you can't fill out all of those columns in the beginning. At least you have the checklist down there where you can fill it out as you go along. I can't, tell my clients what BCP is going to charge them to print their book before we have it done, before our work is done, essentially. I have to be able to show them, they need to see what the project is, not hear, what it's about, that kind of thing. So I know the time is limited, but I try to address some of these things in the blogs on my website. And this session is quite wonderful and helpful in me knowing what the content of some of my blogs should be about moving forward, because there are lots of bits, even down to there's different kinds of editing, copy editing, developmental editing, line by line editing. You have to know, what you need specifically. Thank you. Thank you.
No, Malika, all of that is really, 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 really good. And I agree with you. I think I would recommend people to do the business plan also. You know why I said I think? Because, my brain don't work that way, okay? But in terms of recommendation and suggestion, you are completely right. You're completely right. And it goes hand in hand with the promotion and the marketing plan for the book. So why wouldn't you have a financial plan? It would seem like that falls really into order. So I thank you.
Yeah, and Paul, just quickly to that point, some of what promotion and publicity, there are little expenses in that. You could have a really amazing publicist and marketing person But there are going to be some cost involved in that too, aside from what you pay them for their time and expertise. You know what I mean? You know, maybe at the ads, you have to explore whether it's worth having an ad somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of that. But I wish everybody well and stay the course, because we can't have too much great work.
Yeah, yeah. Some of you guys may not know our good friend Malika there, but she speaks from a ton of experience as an independent publishing, as in commercial, academic publishing, and as an author and publisher herself. So she has, and as an agent, so she has a tremendous amount of experience. So this is very valuable. And again, this is a type of conversation that I like to create. I'd like to create the space, or we'd like to create the space that people come together. You'll be able to reach Malaika. Malaika, can you drop your information in chat?
I did.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Malika is also available. If you go to our site, A Good Day to Print, you'll connect with Malika. We have graphic artists here, and Katia. Roz, can we unmute Katia for a moment?
She can, see, I don't know where she is.
Okay, I think I see her, so I think I can get her.
Yeah.
Okay, Katia, I just want to make sure, first of all, how you doing this morning? And did your question get answered?
Oh, I see.
Saw you dropped 2 in there. It did, in terms of, because I made a statement that how advanced Michelle is in Word and how we don't like Word files. Okay. One of the things, again, doing your research, what you'll find is that Word is a word processing program. It's not a page layout program. So it's not the most stable in terms of designing books. Although many people use it, a lot of times working with Word files, things move around. So it could end up costing you more money, and you do not have the flexibility of the specific preciseness that you have in a page makeup program like InDesign or some of the other programs. I know we have Steve Long, a designer, on this call also, who uses an alternative to InDesign. So you want to go to a graphics designer because you really want them to give you the best look that you can get of your words on the page. You want that design, and Word has limitations. But I did see a response to it, Katia. I just wanted to make sure, and I wanted to say hi to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you're good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. You know, one of the things I wanted to do was go back to Alex, I think it was. And Alex is visually impaired, but he's got a great story going. And Alex, I think I was telling you that although your story is complete, the manuscript isn't completed, right? And if you think about what, particularly the editing piece, that's what I really consider to be a finished manuscript. When you finish your editing on the book, and the editor says you're good, and you tell the editor I'm good also with everything you've done, then it's time for design. It's time to move on. Alex, I don't know in your case if somebody is working with you to steer you through those stages, but that might be helpful. That really might be helpful to do, especially since your piece is, I think you said in different places, or it's kind of widely out there. And I think I was talking with someone earlier, and forgive me because I can't flip these pages and keep up with all that stuff at the same time. So bear with me, okay? But when I was talking with the sister, Hakika, I think it is. I think you. Well, look, I may get this wrong because I really can't sort it in real time. You know, they're talking about real time, like being on Zoom and doing this stuff and trying to keep up with the notes. I'm having problems with it. But the point is, I asked the question, did you need this appendix because you had so much material? I just want to get back to that one, okay? First of all, I have a love for cookbooks, so I'm also one of your clients. I'll be ready to buy your book when it's done, okay? Black cookbooks especially, okay? That's what I collect, okay? But I was just thinking, how does someone look at your work and say you need an appendix to it? Is that a skilled person looking at it, or is that someone who is just confused by your material? So I'm wondering what editor has looked at your material in terms of organizing it, and how does that work? So that might be, I don't know, you might want to, before you get too far into the project, you may want to have someone like a Malik or like a Mache look at your piece and give you some ideas about what you're, the material that you have, the better way to organize it, or the best way to organize that material. You might want to do that. I know this. I'd love to see your book. That's really all that I have to say about that. I'd love to see your book, and I would love to see it done well. An editor might help. You also are going to be helped by a graphic designer who can help you get the concept of food and what you're saying illustrated in a way that can be as cost effective as possible. We are coming up close to the end of this, and bear with me for 1 minute. Roz, did I have any questions that were in chat that were left? And
there was one, excuse me,
Go
there
ahead.
was one question. When will the recording be available? Because some people want to, go back and listen to it.
Okay.
And I don't know if Brother Damani and Ife asked their question. I know he put some questions in the chat, and I think Sister Malika responded to some, but I'm not sure.
Okay,
You might
good.
want to ask him if he wants to ask his question.
Okay, Damani, if you
Mr.
have
Coach,
something, we've got about another 2 or 3 minutes. If you have something, Damani, if you can drop it in, and this is Damani King, not Damani Coates.
Yes, right.
Both Howard people, by the way. Just a couple
And Mr. Coach,
generations
can I
apart,
add one more thing?
Michelle.
Just one more thing. Damani was talking about people taking ownership of their process. One of the things that myself and people like Malika does is accountability. A lot of times writers and potential and aspiring authors need accountability partners. You need someone to help you to come up with that timeline, to write out your process and what you're thinking about, what you're doing, because other than that, it'll take 5 years, 10 years to get this done. And in fact, it does not take that long to publish a book. But if you don't have anybody that you're accountable to, and you keep starting and stopping, as Damani spoke to, and you don't have the drive to finish, people like us will help support you through that process of getting it done.
Michelle, I'm
Beautiful,
so
And
glad
developing
you
that
added that.
timeline and that budget.
That's a
I'm so
beautiful
glad.
point.
Go ahead, Damani, I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that's a beautiful point. I think accountability partners, as Mache termed it, that's a perfect term. Oftentimes folks get bogged down in the process and you need that source of encouragement to bring you along. It's okay to have to pay for that, by the way. We pay for everything that we do in life. So I think it's really about what is important to you, establishing that priority and seeing the significance of that support to help get you to that end game. And your end game is not just getting your book into print. I should distinguish that as well. Most people have their eyes set on the end of the prize as, oh, my book is done. It's available for sale. That's where the game really begins. That's when you're on the court. So everything that we're talking about is leading you up to the point that you're on the court, where Mache and Malika and BCP can add value to your process is once you're on the court, it really becomes a question of what are you prepared to do? So I think the accountability terminology is perfect, and it's definitely something that I would say is essential.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. So, you know, the other thing you can always do, and I think Moshe and Malika are good people for this, you know, like you may not need a book doctor or someone to guide you through all of the steps. It may be that you want that person to give you an evaluation at the start of your process, you know, for them to just look at your process and give you some ideas around what direction to go in. Brother Zaid, I know you were saying you have several manuscripts, and look, it's always great, like if you've got several books, you know, as opposed to just one book, because selling several books is as easy as selling one book, okay? And selling one book is as hard as selling several books. It really is. However, it may be that one of those pieces actually should come out before the other one. One of them may be stronger than the other pieces. So it may not be a matter of video at this point. You may want someone to look at what you're doing. And again, this is where it might be helpful talking to a Malika, talking to a Moshe, to give you some insight. And you would hire them for that particular task. You would be hiring them for the whole process. You say, well, look, I need some consulting done. And everybody else on the call should consider this as well. You need to talk, if you got two choices. Either you can go on your own and develop this from experience and trial, or you can go on your own and have someone on your shoulder advising you from their experience and trials, you know? So look, Roz, my
Yes,
darling wife,
yes.
okay? How we doing? Do we have anything else in the
No,
chat?
we were gonna address the issue of the recording.
Okay. So I'll try to have this recording up this week in the next few days. My skills are kind of limited on transferring Zoom over to what becomes YouTube, the platform that it'll sit on. I like to, I like to have like an opening and stuff like that going on, and I'm kind of limited on that. So this one may be up as a rough video, but you will have access to it. Now, I don't know. Look, I think the best way to do this for people who want to share their contact information, put your contact information in chat. What I can do is share a link to chat, okay, with you. And then that way you have contact with those people who want to be contacted. Those people who don't want to be contacted don't need to be contacted. Everybody who signed up for this session, though, will go on our mailing list. And so you will get notices down the line of other sessions that we do. These will be occasional sessions, but they're going to focus on different things. Like they're going to focus on, for example, what do you do when a book has already been published? There are a number of marketing folks that are out there that are doing some innovative things. And what we would want to do is share that information. There are people, for example, Damani was saying that his book is done on, that's Damani Keene, was saying his book is done on Amazon. So we'll want, Damani, I'd love to have you back to talk about that experience and share that with people, because you're questioning now, should it be done in different formats? Well, we can get into that. I'm looking forward to having these occasional conversations so that we can expand our knowledge collectively as a community. And with that, I think I want to thank everyone. I just want to make sure again and check, Roz, did I get everything?
Yes, someone asked for the YouTube channel.
Okay. The link will be sent to you, and it's basically going to be posted on Black Classic Press, but a link will be sent to everyone, people who registered for the call.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. With that, I ask you to, and I hope wherever you are, that it is a beautiful day as it is here in Washington, D.C. So with that, I'm going to ask that we leave the call as we're intending to do, and that we enjoy our day today. Enjoy this day
Amen.
because look, it's really all we got.
I
All we
know
got.
that's right.
That's it. That's
Amen.
it.
All righty.
Okay. Be safe
Bye,
and thank
everybody.
you. And especially
Take care,
thank you, Ms. Shay, for
everyone. Thank you
joining
so
us.
much for joining us. Thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank
Okay,
you,
take
everyone.
care, everyone.
This was great.
Love
This
you
was
all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. And Tamani, we'll get
Long
together,
live
brother.
Black Classic Press.
We'll get together, brother.
Right on to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Good job, everybody. Beautiful job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank
This
you.
brother
And
here.
brother, that
Take
piece with
that.
Alice Coltrane, yeah, you need to get that one
Oh,
done.
man. Oh,
Yes, please.
God. Yes.
Please,
Oh,
please.
Do we hear amen
that
on
be
this
drooling at the
call?
mouth.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. From your lips to the Most High.
That's it. Stay well, everybody.
Bye.
Take care now. All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye.